Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
That's how we're starting it. Good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode of the Idle Talk podcast. First things first, Craig's not here. He's been dodging all me calls. Just proper sus bloke. Nah. Craig's on night shift, so he could not be here to host this one. So you'll have to deal with the Stockholm boys.
Yes.
Today we have our lovely guest to my right, your left.
It's the first time I've been called lovely in like a long time. So I'll take it.
These two lovely gentlemen to my right, all the way from WA, Porana Motorsports, Russell and James. Howdy. Thanks for coming.
Oh, do I clap too?
Yeah.
No, thanks for having us, guys. Obviously we've been here for a little bit now, but it's been a pleasure in all seriousness.
Yeah,
so.
It's good to have you around. We've learnt quite a few things about the old Carby V6 world.
Oh yeah.
Amongst other things, but I guess we'll just get straight into it, and we'll hit you with the hard, important questions. And first and foremost is, how do you get into cars? Both of you. How do you get into cars?
Well, my journey starts a lot later than, obviously, I'm not sure if you ever had a father and son on the channel yet for a podcast, but...
No, this would be the first.
The first? Okay, let's start with the father, because generally that's where...
It starts.
I bleed red, and I bleed red for a reason.
Yep.
And it started with this one back here.
Yeah, I started with cars at about 14, 15 years old, tearing around in old bomb cars through the bush that we collected and chopped them up and made them into hot rods and stuff like that. Old Austin A40s back in the early 60s, and been giving them a hiding ever since. They're building cars.
Probably trashed some nice ones there too.
Some of the stories he tells are some of those ones where you cry.
Yeah.
But maybe not so much the Austins. Apologies to the ones that do love Austins and stuff like that. But there's other stuff that he's told me, stories about of cars that he's passed up or sold for cheap or scrapped or something like that. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I still had that. And I've even started to get to the point in my life where I've got stories like that, which is sad, but. Like Toranas and stuff like that from back in the day that I should have bought for a couple of $100, or things that were given away because nobody wanted them.
Yep.
But now all of a sudden they're worth gold.
Yeah.
But you can't keep them all. So.
Unfortunately.
Always been a Holden man, James?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Dad bought his first Holden back in 62, EK Holden station wagon. And been with them ever since.
Was it the first automatic Holden imported into Western Australia?
Right.
So,
yeah, right.
Oh, really?
Yep, there you go.
Wow.
A little bit of piece of history. Not that it means too much. I mean, there's plenty of automatic Holdens around, but
I love all the little bits of history.
It was the first Holden, first automatic Holden back in the day.
Mum couldn't drive a manual, so he had to get an automatic, and that was the first Holden automatic they produced.
Yeah, right.
62, and a chocolate EK wagon with a white roof.
Yeah, wow.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Even still know the number plate, UHU 709 it was.
That's cool as.
Well, no one can ever say that his memory's
I was
faulty.
just about to say,
I'm sure.
memory's bang on.
So when he turns around and says, I did say that, I'm going to have to say, yeah, okay. It's probably me that's losing my marbles.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then, of course, my story begins with him, obviously. One of my earliest of memories, I wouldn't have been very old at all, was in a car seat in the front of Dad's LJ Torana it was an LC Torana converted into an LJ, grill and bits and pieces. Sitting in the front seat in a car seat, driving down quite a common road in Perth. I don't remember anything else. It's just like a snapshot in my mind. When you're that small, I probably only would have been one or two. I don't remember much else from that time in my life, but I do remember that one snapshot of the dashboard and looking out down the road and seeing the Torana and.
Grumpy little Torana.
Yeah. So, and from there, obviously, my passion for Holdens, but Toranas has grown from that time forward, you know.
Yep.
So, and that's like obviously a lot of very similar stories, you know. Ford guys have come from a Ford family, and Holden guys have come from a Holden family. It's not generally you get one that changes halfway through, but you know, it's a rarity, and I feel sorry for those that have converted from Holden to Ford. But
definitely.
no offense, guys. Sorry. So yeah, and it's just grown ever since. You know, I didn't get to spend a lot of time with Dad growing up, and then once we sort of got a bit closer, I was more around the 15-odd-year-old mark. I didn't really have a lot to do with cars, but it was in me though. Like even though, you know, I'd see Dad on weekends and stuff like that, he never really pushed cars on us and stuff like that. We used to just play and do, you know, kid stuff.
Yeah.
So we were never really around. I mean, Dad was always tinkering with the car, but nothing, probably more to keep it running than it was to do anything major to it.
Yeah.
And then I had a bit more to do with Dad as I got a bit older, and
got to build the panel van together.
Yeah, got to build many cars and
Yep.
and enjoy ourselves and tick a lot of cars off the list that a lot of people would wish that they still had, and I still wish I had. And, and memories, you know, like you know, Dad built a panel van. Was it a HZ panel van or a HJ panel van?
HX. Yeah.
HX, there you go. I knew it was one of them.
Yeah.
Back in the day in the shed, and you know, I got to be
yeah.
able to remember doing some sanding and bits and pieces on it, and going to visit and over time and seeing it be built and turned into a really nice car in the end, you know. And then we eventually got to be able to have a panel van of our own that we used as a tow car for years.
Yeah, wow.
Which was pretty cool, you know. I bought an old panel van from an old guy that used it as his tradies car, and you know, we picked it up as a 6-cylinder, you know, 202 blue motor automatic, and transformed it into a 253 4-speed manual panel van that we towed our burnout car around for quite some time before we eventually parted ways with it, as you do. But yeah, so, and it's just growing from a Porana burnout car to a 1-tonner, and the 1-tonner's still parked in the shed, and we bring the Calais. So
the Mang.
yeah, bit of Mang life.
How long you had the tonner for?
We got the tonner off of a mate for probably 6 years ago.
Yeah, 2018.
18, 17, maybe late 17, early 18, somewhere around about 2018.
And if I'm not mistaken, the first combo in the tunnel was actually
this one.
Yeah.
Not this exact engine, but parts from this one, absolutely. But yeah, it was this combination. This gearbox did end up in the 1-tonner towards the end of its time, but we tried. It was not the first car that the combination actually started in, which is how
funnily
Brian
enough,
remembers it.
Yeah, funnily enough, that it actually started in a VX.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, right.
lo and behold, that's where I kind of got the idea for Carbotech. So I used to watch videos of it on YouTube. Like, this is like 6.5 years ago now.
Yeah. It's been a process. Like, it's definitely not been one that we've can say has been enjoyable the whole time. That's for sure. There's been a lot of hair pulling, and you guys have
Got
had a little bit of experience in that.
First-hand encounters.
Getting there.
Yep. But so the VX. And we just threw together parts that we had kicking around. I think we had a VTSS. We turned it into a VT. We had a VTSS body kit around, and some mag wheels that I had off my old street car. And we bought it as a running car. Like, I drove it from those guys that know the WA, from Northam all the way down to Perth. It's like 150 k's or whatever. You know, just drove the car home and turned it into a skid car from there. So
yeah, just a movement permit.
Yeah, just the old diode and the gearbox, and we had a 3.7 Definite originally, which we mini spooled, and then it just sort of slowly grew from there. We got the main running of the car right with the white one, and then we had a lot of troubles with the early engines, detonation of all kinds.
Yeah.
Right.
So we went through quite a few engines, and then we sort of give up for a little bit, and then we come across the 1-tonner, picked it up quite cheap. We're actually going to turn it into a street car and flip it, because Dad and I have dabbled in flipping cars and stuff over the years to be able to fund our burnout habit. That's about the only way I've been able to afford to do it.
Yep.
And you would keep moving my microphone, dog. So,
And we picked it up
And-
from Gilton. Used to be a
fisherman's ute.
Fisherman's 1 tonne ute.
yeah,
Yeah,
picked up for like
Just a
$500.
white-
It was just a running car.
White Ecotech motor in it.
Yep. And we were going to flip it, but then we had burnouts coming up at the local speedway and decided, let's weld the diff in it. And we stuck the carby setup just straight on top, like no cam, no nothing. It was just dead stock
Just
motor
an
with
old
the
tired motor.
with the 2 350 holies on it, and just
Yeah,
stuck it
yeah,
in there
yeah.
and put some extractors on it and took it down the speedway club and had some fun with it. I think we blew like 5 sets that weekend on the dead stock motor with the 308 diff gears, and just was like, well, this is actually, we did the first night, we popped a couple of sets, and then we went back home. We were like, we've got an SS bumper, and we've got this and we've got that, and we threw some mags on the front of it, and a few, like we stood back and went, that actually looks pretty good.
Yep.
And that was the end of it.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, sorry, no, that was the beginning,
The
of
beginning,
it. There was an
yeah,
18-month build process the car went through from start to finish, and when we rolled it out of the shed, man, it was love at first sight for me.
Yep.
We had the 1 tonner for a little while, trial and error with that thing as well. We blew up a lot of motors with it. And in the end, gave up on that as well. Literally gave up on the V6 idea and put an LS in it.
Yay.
Yeah. Put the LS1 in it. But, you're going to laugh because it lasted like 3 skids and I blew it up. So, it didn't get me any extra liability. It was definitely a tired old motor. We just chucked in as a junker and stuck a cam in it and a few bits and pieces, and it went hard for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So,
That's pretty much 99% of the ecotechs in the burnout scene, and people wonder why they don't last.
Yeah, well,
they
this
just
was the-
pluck them from a junkyard and then do nothing to them.
yeah, and that's obviously we're going along a really interesting journey of conversation, but I get asked a lot, and I mean $1 for every time I get asked how to put an ecotech together and get it to go anything like this. It's like, well, you go through 7 years of R&D first, and then you might get to where we're at. But there's guys out there that are pushing the boundaries with the ecotechs, and we've seen a couple of them I've seen a couple of them over the last couple of months. I've been over here that are some pretty serious ecotechs on this side of the country, so which is awesome to see, because WA is Falcons galore. It's Barra of the world, literally. Although the whole sock idea seems to be coming in pretty heavy at the moment, but don't stick a junker in and expect it to go anywhere anymore.
Yeah.
That's gone out the window.
They're 30-plus-year-old engines.
Yeah, with 350,000 plus on them, and then some of those have been unserviced for quite a fair chunk of that. So, it's a well-serviced engine. Well, yeah, but was that at the beginning when it was under warranty, and then they stopped for 10 years, and then all of a sudden someone bought the car and decided to service it again, and then they sold it to some young guy who never serviced it. And
Yeah. At some point,
it's copped, and then someone's done a burnout in it. If you want to think that your car's never done a burnout, it's a Commodore or a Falcon. Yeah, it has. Like, some
It's
young
done a
guy has
burnout.
done a skid in it.
Yeah.
And even if you've lent it to your son
Yeah.
or your daughter, and they've
They've done
taken
a
it
skid
down
in
to
it.
get Maccas from the drive-through, it's done a burnout. Like, in all seriousness, like, to think that your car hasn't or the engine hasn't, you're dreaming.
It's not a 6-cylinder alive that hasn't done a fucking burnout in Australia.
No, exactly.
People skid Magnas, for fuck's sake.
Oh yeah, and around here too. Like, there is so many people. Like,
yeah.
you're in rev head heaven out
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Well,
it's
you'd think so
crazy,
anyway.
yeah.
It's far out every night.
Every night
Sometimes
you
I
hear
think
it.
it's the same car a few times, actually.
It's got to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them sound very similar.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then we got given the Calais. So,
What happened to the VX?
the VX, actually, we turned it into a turtle. So
You dragged it out the front.
we couldn't get it out of the backyard once we'd raided it from all the parts, because most of it went onto the 1-tonner. So, like, all the K-frame and, because we'd gone through all the suspension, so all of that stuff all come out of there and went into the 1-tonner. And the interior was out of a Club Sport that I've got at home, so it's all Coulson interior. So they all went out and put into storage, and I think the body kit's still kicking around at home, actually, somewhere in the back part shelf. And then once it had seen all of its life, and there was nothing left on the car apart from a bare body shell. We couldn't get it out of the backyard because of where it was, so we literally rolled the car onto its roof and then skull dragged it out from the backyard on its roof because it wouldn't go on the other way around because it just dig into the ground. So we flipped it over. It's funny. It was actually, if you were there watching it, it was actually quite funny. And then literally just skull dragged it out to the front verge, and the Shire had a car body pickup one day, and we just said, well, I'm going to put it out the front and come and get it.
Yep.
They loaded on the back, and away it went.
Yeah, wow.
A sad story, but there was no real attachment to that car. It had kind of done its purpose, and it had failed a lot.
Yeah.
So there was no real connection. You know, so to see it go, oh look, you know, you don't like to see your cars go, and in the end, it was just a white VX Commodore V6, like nothing, like
300,000.
If it was a Club Sport or an SS or something like that, maybe I might have kept it in the backyard and rebuilt it or something. But just being a normal everyday car, it meant nothing. So it just
see you later.
Down the road.
Thanks for the memories.
Yeah, a bit of memories and a bit of R&D, and and then the 1-tonner, we gave up on that and went to the LS, and I got given this body from a friend in town who. I knew of the car, but I didn't know where it ended up. And it turned out it was in his backyard. He said to me one day, he says, oh, I've got a Commodore in my backyard. I need to borrow your car trailer. Can I borrow your car trailer? I was like, what are you going to do with the car? And he's like, I'm going to push it down the tip. I was like, you're going to push it down the tip? What's wrong with it? And I was like, I don't know. I was going to do some work to it and never did.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, well, I'll take it. I'll take whatever I want off of it, and then I'll take it down the tip. And he's like, yeah, just come and get it. I need to get it gone because I've got a rent inspection. I'm like, yeah, sweet, no worries. And I pull around the corner, and here's a VS Calais parked out in his front verge. And I was like, you are not going to the tip, no matter how bad you look. So we repainted the bonnet and the boot, cleaned her up, and tucked some other seats in it, and threw all of our parts in it to all the V6 stuff.
Yep.
And that first motor lasted about 70 odd skids.
Yeah, wow.
Which is for us a world record.
Yeah.
And for an Ecotec these days, it's considering how hard we push it.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
And then this motor's we've done about 20 odd sets on it, and then we just put new rings and bearings in it before we come over here, just for peace of mind. It's a long way to come because of, and then have it fail just because you didn't look into something. And we did actually find a couple of things that needed some attention, so it was good that we did pull it down. But we actually found a broken valve spring.
Yeah, right.
And a bent valve which had stuffed out a guide. So, and not on the same one that was the broken valve spring. Ironically, I'm not sure how that correlated. It was actually a different cylinder, but so.
Lucky you pulled it down.
Lucky we pulled it down, because that probably would have lasted maybe another 1 or 2 skids and dropped the top off the valve, and we would have been,
Oh.
It didn't even sound
All
like
over.
it had a bent
No, it
valve.
ran perfect, man. Like, there was not a thing wrong with it. We pulled it apart knowing that we were pulling apart a good running engine.
Yeah, right.
With zero issues. Like, we were like, just rings and bearings, gaskets, whack it back together again and send it.
Yep.
And, that didn't quite work out, so.
Just broke off the top ring of the valve spring on the beehive.
Yeah.
So
Really?
it's still working.
Yeah, it actually snapped off, and then it just went boop and fell straight down. So it actually interlocked with the other rest of the valve spring and still functioned.
Yeah.
So
That's a weird place to
running
break.
the LS valve springs, it was bigger anyway.
yeah,
And the VS one, the Ecotec one. So it just shortened it down to what a normal beehive one was like, I suppose.
So
But
Yeah.
the bent valve was a bit of a shock.
that was a bit of a.
what caused that at all. But it's you'd think it would have ran on 7 cylinders, but it didn't.
Yeah.
And still screamed when we pulled it apart. The valve guide was damaged.
You're a shocker, dog.
Had to race the head into Geraldton and get a new valve guide put in it and another valve.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because we were starting to
put it
run
back
out of
on.
time to get the car ready to get over here in time for the events and stuff. So we were really pushing the boundaries of getting the car ready, because and we were fighting weather. Like, we've had record rains at home.
Yeah, right.
and it's just we don't have a shed. We're building the car in a driveway and
Yep.
with no shelter, no nothing, and we've got a shed, but it's got a dirt floor in it. So when you're dealing with record rains, that's a mud patch.
Yeah.
So we fought a lot to get here.
Yep.
And then it kind of played up on us for the first bit of the trip, and then we found out what the problem was, and we've been good ever since.
Yeah,
So
yep.
yeah, it's been enjoyable.
Yeah, nice.
I guess that kind of answers our first two questions. That little bit of a chat, which was good.
Yeah, one question tends to lead into another one, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
definitely,
So
definitely.
I guess we'll just move on to the next one. And what would be your favourite event on the calendar?
Oof.
And we'll follow that by the next one. But yeah, favourite event on the calendar so far, especially with your recent tour, that Tour
Yep.
de Mang that you've done.
Yeah.
You've got to witness a fair few different events and a fair few styles.
Mm.
What would be your favourite on the calendar so far?
That's a hard one to answer
Yeah.
because there's so many good ones in it, but then there's a lot that are good in some ways, but then you don't have an enjoyable time while you're there. Then that's got nothing to do with the event. That's got to do with how the car went. And
Yeah.
like the Malalar event in Adelaide was a cool running event. They welcomed us with arms wide open, man. Like they helped us out. They got us set up early and all kinds of stuff like that. But then it got rained out, and we fought problems with the car the whole time. So I didn't really get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And we were disappointed in that because we never got to show them how the car goes either. So it ran like we had quite a few guys come up and say, "Oh man, this thing's awesome! It goes like so hard. We didn't even realise it was a V6." I was like, "Well, actually, it ran like a bucket of bolts." But it looked okay. No worries. Cheers, man.
Yeah.
So, favourite event. I would probably have to say my favourite event would probably be one that's not going anymore. I reckon I had more fun at the Newman Burnout event than I've had at anywhere else, and I had a little bit of a fair bit of a helping hand in the event, like being up there and being part of it. So Newman for you guys and for anyone else is like 12 hours north of Perth.
Yep.
Would be like you guys going up to Cairns, I suppose, for an event, or even further.
Yeah.
So, it was a really cool event, really cool venue, nice, cool pad, and really welcoming people. Like it's a mining town, and they've got plenty of money, and it's just this really cool atmosphere. And over at Tom Price, so the next town across, it's 300 and something odd kilometres, but it's literally the next town. They have a cool event as well, which doesn't happen anymore. They haven't had it for the last couple of years, so
Yeah, right.
they would probably be my two favourite events.
Yep.
I haven't had a lot of actual success in results, so the car goes well, but to come home with lots of trophies, I haven't had that. So that really hasn't influenced any favourite event by any chance. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The
Well,
last one we just done at Brisbane.
Queensland Raceway, the Wild Wednesdays one. Even though we got there late and we rushed in a couple of skids, it was actually a pretty cool environment, pretty cool.
Yeah.
To be part
It's
of,
always
so
good
I'm
fun
keen
out
to
there.
come back and have a go at the Fridays event. So
Yeah, the full
that'll
day
be-
one would be.
yeah, we're talking about that. So we'll have to
Yeah.
see what happens. Obviously, it's a fairly big and
Massive trip.
tormentorous journey to be able to get here.
yeah.
But we'll have to work on that one, I think.
Yeah.
So if anyone's watching and wants to help out, feel free to drop me a line.
Yeah.
But we'll have to make something work, I think, to be able to get at least across for one of them at some stage.
Oh, definitely.
So
2-day one would be awesome.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Easter long weekend. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I
It's
think that's
Anzac Day.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that'd be killer. I think we've looked at dates, and that does line up pretty well for the Fridays one, and then for maybe Rocky Nuts and what was the other one? The Wells Downs,
Yeah, and Toowoomba
Toowoomba.
At the airport.
March, yeah.
Over
next year.
like a 6-week period. I think there's 3 big comps on there, and then I don't know, there might be another Wednesday's event or something we can.
Sneak in
And then
between.
we need to obviously make the decision if it's the V6 that comes back or we bring the 1-tonner for a drive. So
Yep.
I think you were pretty sold on the tonner when you were telling me about
yeah,
it.
We're thinking about the 1-tonner. I think it
Yeah.
deserves. It's finally running. after 3 years sitting on the back burner because we've just had so much fun with this thing.
Yeah.
And putting a methanol LS together is not exactly the cheapest of things when you've also got one you're pouring money into here as well. So trying to fund two cars and live a life and a family and stuff like that. It becomes.
Oh yeah.
It becomes fairly hefty. So the tonner's running, and we're gonna get it retuned onto E85, and if it goes well, then maybe it might be a 1-tonner trip.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think so. Well, you've seen the Mang, so might as well bring the one.
It's done the rounds.
Yeah, it has. It has. And it's been good. Like it's been like well accepted. Like, and I've got good reception from it being over here and having fun with it. Like people have loved seeing it, and
it's a weapon.
It's a little bit different than your old average Joe V6 or
yes, definitely.
Bloody oath.
Yeah. So
definitely goes hard.
It does go alright. You to find out firsthand, Damo.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be Ryan coming for a run, but Ryan decided to get the old cough, cold, flu thing.
Yeah.
And he was laid up in bed.
So I took that
in a hospital bed.
Yeah, in a hospital bed. And so we took Carbotec and we took this thing and tension and caught fire and done all kinds of things.
So that was so as he said before, we ended up getting out there late. When did we get
we got onto the pad just before 9.
And it closes at 10. I think we got there 8-ish, and then
it was rushed.
Obviously paperwork lined up, all that stuff, but still managed, buddy, 2 skids.
Yeah. Well, it was actually the most back-to-back we've ever done in this car.
Yep.
So normally you get 4 or 5 hours or a couple of hours or whatever in between skids, but it was like 45 minutes and we were back out there ready to go again.
Back lined up
and
again.
I'm like, okay, it should be fine. It's nothing's changed. It still ran fine. So I was like, let's go.
No, done well.
Yeah. So.
And we actually ended up closing the night out on the second one.
That was cool.
Yeah.
To be able to do that, to be the last car on the pad was actually was pretty cool. So I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
So, and
got fired up for that.
And then there was got a bit crispy as well with the old wagon.
Yeah.
Everyone's probably seen the videos, but
I'm sure everyone's seen the videos. It's also done the rounds. Andrew's wagon had a little bit of a fuel fire out at Wild Wednesdays.
I think a little bit's probably an understatement, to be honest. But we
had a lot of bit of fuel fire.
So hose pretty well broke out of the fitting that goes straight to the carby rail, so it was just getting fed fuel.
Yeah.
And just constant.
Yep. And kept feeding it.
Obviously, after a 2-minute skid, just pumped fuel straight onto the red hot extractors. And
Oofka.
And because of just how intense, it's a flash fire and being a fuel fire, it would have been very intense. It just melted the fuel wires together. So even though Andrew turned it off in the cab, it's still just giving it fuel.
Yeah, something happened. The pump was still going. Yeah.
Something happened. The pump was still going, but then you can see Damien booking it from fucking halfway across the fucking
jumped out of the passenger seat.
He was next in line.
I didn't put it in my video, so I haven't. My video from Wednesdays would have been dropped already by the time you guys put this out. But I didn't put you running across the fire in my video. I probably should have. It was quite funny. But he was actually on his way off the pad, just giving it berries on his way off the pad.
Yep.
As I reached out the window and clicked on the GoPro.
Yeah, radio.
So, and then we were like, oh. Well, that's going to be... you can hear us like... and then all of a sudden you just see you absolutely bolt across the front of the car.
Yep.
It was actually... you can look back on it now and have a giggle, but...
Oh, yeah. No, I got it shut off. Luckily not too much. Some burnt hoses, some burnt wiring. It'll be going again.
Yeah. And a expanded radiator.
Yeah.
Expanded.
Well, if it doesn't leak, you might as well put it back in again, I guess.
Yeah.
The aluminium got a bit warmed up and the pressure of the inside the radiator.
Yeah, it's all over the shop.
Yeah,
it's not good.
The shroud's half melted off.
I have seen one of them before. There was one guy on Marketplace on Facebook in WA trying to sell one out of a VS that looked exactly the same, like round. It was like a round balloon. He was trying to sell it for
It
like
still
50
holds
bucks.
water, mate.
And he's like, yeah, it's like, it still works. It's like 50 bucks. Nobody wanted it. It was up for sale for months. I'm like, everyone's looked at it and gone, yeah, no.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I get that.
Extra
That's
capacity.
not-
Yeah. It keeps
Holds an extra litre.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
the tubes
fuck.
in the radiator will be all a bit fatter.
Yeah, just a bit of a fucking soft hammer. Squish it back down.
Fuck.
Yeah. Or we could set it back on fire again and then just push the bonnet down a bit harder or something, you know, like...
Chuck it in the press.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, get out the blowtorch. I'm sure he'd love that.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll move on to the next one. And what would be your favourite car in the current burnouts? Or, it could even be from the past. What's your favourite car of all time in the burnout scene? And where would you skid it if given the opportunity?
I had a feeling you were going to ask me this question. Because I've watched a couple of these podcast thingies before.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard question on the Idle Talk podcast.
It is, and apparently we're on Idle Talk. So, that is like the toughest of questions.
Yeah.
Like, because
Well, I could ask you fucking 3 weeks from now and you'd have a different answer.
Oh yeah, probably. But
it
like being from WA, and not getting to venture across to the eastern states pretty much ever. Like first time with the car, you know. So my experience around cars is come from one trip years ago to watch a Summer Nats.
Yeah, right.
And whoever else has come to visit WA, and then just WA cars. So, I mean, the pinnacle at the moment's Chris and Game Over, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, 700 cubes and, 9,000 RPM of absolute madness
Goodness.
would be...
Of just yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then, obviously, with a car like that, I would generally say I'd love to skid on Summer Nat's pad, but not that car.
Yeah.
I'd rather somewhere like his pad with Bindoon, where it's 50 by 50 and you can literally just bury your pedal
And just
enjoy every single one of those 700 cubes.
Yeah.
So yeah, currently it'd have to be Chris's car for sure. And then if you were looking for an older car, I mean, I'm a Tirana guy, so Clint Ogilvy's front back,
Yeah, front back.
obviously.
What a classic.
And back in the
Oh,
308,
front back,
Plant
yeah,
308
yeah.
days, you know. So, if you're a Tirana guy, that's where you've got to go, don't you? You don't really have much of a choice about that. It's not a choice anyway.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's where I'm gonna go. I'm not
And
sure.
once again, I'll put up a poll in 3 weeks' time just because I said it. And I'll ask you this question once again.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty set on those, but
We'll just make a poll and then anybody can add their own answers.
Yep.
And then we'll see what people say.
yeah, I think so. That'd be a good one. Otherwise, taking this thing for a spin is a dream.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah, you got to love it when you just have your own car that
Yep.
you're just happy with.
Yep.
Like, I'm sure as shit happy with my VS at the moment, and it's
Well,
only going to get
why
better.
wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
You know, we've talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
To be able to function on what it is and the way that it functions and how effortlessly it does
Yeah.
is, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So,
And
you know,
and especially with how little budget has gone
yeah,
into it.
well, this is the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, like having a car that performs on a budget, I think it's so much more rewarding. I mean, the one tonner's
100%.
the one tonner's got a lot of money thrown at it. So
Yeah.
and skidding
There's-
while it's fun, like don't get me wrong, it's freaking awesome. You know, having 400 plus at the wheels and just go hell for leather and smokes and kills tires and looks good at the same time. I mean, yeah, it's awesome, but there's a reason why we bought the V6 across the country and not the 400 horsepower LS car. It's because this is just, you got to drive it,
Yeah.
and you've got to you when you've popped the tires and you know it's a good skid, and you got people wanting to talk to you about your car and wanting to find out more and wanting to, you know, loving your car. You know you got it right, so that makes you want to do more with it.
Yeah.
And get it out. That's the reason why for bringing it over here. Like, I want people to see our car.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's nothing special. I mean, there's
Welcome back.
Yeah, g'day. This is the Winginit Motorsports podcast.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah. Just getting a bit,
Thanks for
getting a bit
jumping on,
nippy.
Damo. Yeah, and while we got you, pre-sale right now for some of jumpers. I know it's literally the wrong season, but yeah.
I don't know. He just put his jumper on, and I was
It's still
thinking
getting
about
bloody cold, but yeah, we got some new Winginit jumpers
and track pants.
and trackies. So yeah, get them.
the tracky days.
Get them now.
Yeah.
Cheeky little plug. Anyway, sorry for interrupting you.
No, no, go for it.
But yeah, like I was saying, that's probably why I gravitate so much to my VS, is because of how much I haven't spent on it and how much fun I've had. I cop shit all the time because people think it's just constantly broken, when that's the furthest thing from the truth. I've been skidding that car for 7 years now.
Yeah. What's it doing at the moment?
It is broken.
Sorry, I just had to ask that. Throw that in there.
But it is.
Yeah, there's a good reason.
There's a very good reason.
Yeah.
And it's about to get a whole lot better. It's about to get a whole lot more serious.
And it might have something to do with 400 plus on a stock NA bottom end.
And a VS one at that.
And a VS one at that. So, look,
Yeah.
that's astronomical for doing the amount of punishment that you've given it.
Oh, yeah.
Through stock 4L60s.
Well, that too. Like the horsepower figure could be a little bit more than that.
Yeah, given how much the 4L60 hates that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to find out soon with the Power Glide.
Yep.
It's pretty much going to go back to back,
good.
and we're going to find out. I think it's going to pick up horsepower straight away. It's just a lot less reciprocating mass, and
And it'll be getting the power through it.
and it's actually getting the power to the ground. So I reckon it's probably going to pick up fucking 15 to 20 horsepower just from putting the gearbox in it.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised.
That'd make it 460
Yep.
to the tyres. So, yeah.
That's not
Anyway.
enough.
No, it's not enough.
You can get that out of a stock Alice 1. Oh no, stock Barra, sorry. With a set of extractors and
a pod filter.
And a pod filter.
Yeah, 300 horsepower all day.
Gen 4 LS1, that's fucking...
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
breathe on it.
But, nah. Well, enough about my car, because no one's here to listen to me and talk about my car.
Oh, I like to talk about it.
But
So, with yours, one thing I like to ask is, what engine oil do you run?
What engine oil do I run? It's
I mean, I
surprisingly...
do already know, but...
we know the answer.
Yeah. Surprisingly, this is probably the second most asked question I get.
Yep.
And it's not one that I actually thought that I would be asked on a regular basis, but obviously it's... Do a lot of people keep that answer to themselves, like close to their chest or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it seemed to be something I get asked a lot, and I've chopped and changed, and I'm seeing similar results.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, we run similar now to what you have run in the past. There's no rocket science in it as far as I'm concerned.
No.
I mean, this engine is not a built engine. So it has a stock crank, stock rod, stock pistons.
Yep.
With stock worn out clearances with new bearings. So and just stock bearings.
Yeah.
So you've got the extra wear clearance. So if it was a reground crank with specific clearances and stuff, then we'd probably think about a different option.
Yep.
But it just gets Gulf Western 20W50 when it's on special. It's super cheap, and a litre or half a litre of Morris.
Yep.
So
Oil
we
stabilizer.
run 6 litres of Gulf Western and a half litre of Morris. So we've got 6.5 litres in there.
Yep.
You can actually get 7 in the factory sump without
In the
touching.
in the low capacity sump too, not the VY sump.
Yeah, which is a VY sump.
Yeah.
But like you can get more in. So, but 6.5's fine. It doesn't seem to have an issue. So
Yeah, it's plenty.
it's literally whatever's cheap. But we go for Gulf Western, and it's not even the gold one. It's like literally the blue bottle, which is generally on special for like $25.
Yeah.
For a
nothing
5 litre?
special at all, yeah.
And we change it probably every 10-ish skids, probably. Somewhere about there, 5 to 10, depending on how much of a beating it's gotten.
Yep.
We changed
And
it at...
I guess how hot it gets too, and how hot it is on the day.
Yeah,
So
well,
it does-
surprisingly, this thing doesn't get hot, really.
Yep.
It has done in the past, especially when we were 98, but it's only 85 now, so it definitely runs a lot cooler. But
Yeah.
for what it is, it's one of those blown up style VS aluminium radiators that we picked up for like $100 off of Marketplace.
eBay jobby.
Yeah, like nothing special. And the factory single VS fan.
Yeah, it doesn't even have fucking Falcon thermos on it.
No,
but then again, if you're on E85, you shouldn't get hot.
Yeah, so
you should not get hot,
the
ever.
factory water pump. We did actually used to run a Davies Craig inline water pump and a gutted factory housing, but we found that the water tends to take the path of least resistance. It's like any fluid, really. If it's got an easier path to take, it'll take it. And we found that it was actually starving the passenger side head of water.
Oh, really?
Because of when the water pumps into the Ecotech water pump, the blade on the fan blade on the the propeller, you know.
Yeah.
Impeller, that's the word.
Yeah.
It's an impeller. It's not a propeller. It's an impeller. That is what diverts the water down the two paths.
Yep.
Down either side of the motor.
Yep.
As soon as you take that out, like I said, water takes the path of least resistance,
and
it's
through
the left-hand side, down the right-hand side, down and straight out through the radiator. So that whole one side of the engine was actually getting way hotter, and we were having issues of cooking all kinds of things. Warping heads and blowing head gaskets and all kinds of things, like in the early days.
Yep.
So we deleted that, and we went back to the factory standard water pump, and even at the RPM we're pulling, we found we had to just put wire coil through the bottom radiator hose, because it would suck the radiator hose straight up at RPM and block off, like it would put at that sort of RPM. It sucked, it literally
just
couldn't pull it, sucked it closed, and you wouldn't get any feed. So we just literally got a coat hanger and fed it all the way in and never had an issue. So it's literally like you pop the bonnet on this thing, and those that haven't looked don't know, but there's a lot of people that are quite surprised. I've had quite a few on this trip when you pop the bonnet and they're looking at it, and other than the fact that it's got carbies hanging off the top, off the middle, and out the bonnet, and a set of extractors, everything else looks like
just factory.
A factory VS engine bay.
Yeah.
Nothing's different. It looks just like it come off the showroom floor, like a little bit different, but there's nothing.
If they came off the showroom floor, cool. This is how they'd do it.
Yeah, there's no special engineering or anything involved with this car. It's literally the most basic thing you've ever seen in your life. So and it works.
Yeah,
which is what
that's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people don't believe it is possible, but it is definitely possible.
Definitely not easy. That's what we've learnt.
We've got yours now up to the point where you can go and get a dyno tuning.
Yeah, we go throw Carbotech on the dyno.
People normally take path of least resistance at less. We tried to persevere, and
has it not been reliable?
It has. You can't argue with that. That look is not very... Yeah,
no.
It's okay.
I've got a spare LS there,
No. No, but we tried to do the most difficult path. We should have done that
while he was sick.
Yeah.
He should have LS swapped it when he come back.
It's not my car anymore then.
No,
you can have it.
That's true.
You can have it. I'll just go buy a VS.
You got too many.
But anyway, as I was saying, we tried to take the struggle path, trying to make it work with the Delco and fucking around with TPSs and MAF sensor. Long story short,
we've done that too, by the way.
Just don't use a Delco. It doesn't work with a carby. Full stop. I don't care who you know.
There is a way, they haven't found it yet.
Whose mate you know. I got Basil on the job and he couldn't figure it out. There's just a parameter that doesn't exist in the factory Delco fucking whatever, and it's one that we need to make work with the fucking
so pretty much
carby.
he told us, with the Memco, he has hundreds of options pretty much, because people have gone into... People that have needed them have created them and put them out there for people to use, where your fucking flash-based ones has a quarter less of this support.
Compared to a Memcal,
no one's actually tried to...
There's no parameters. There's bugger all you can change. There's bugger all you can do.
So if someone made pretty much like the old Memcal ones, made all the same maps for just about everything that's in the ECU, they're there, you just can't access them.
That's it.
If someone spent the time... doing it, then
unlock
it
those parameters.
Yeah, to unlock everything in the ECU. But I mean, that's fucking...
at that stage,
hours.
is it even worth
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
I mean, you should just do what me and
Once
Damo
it's
were
done,
going to
then
do.
it's just fucking copy and paste. I mean, the hard work's and same as the Memcar one. Someone's had to have sat down and completely fucking come up with the tunable files.
Yep, absolutely.
There's a lot into it.
Yeah.
But,
well, it comes down to, like, I talk about getting asked a lot of questions, and obviously the most primary one is, how can I get my car to run on carby like yours? Well,
throw the ECU in the bin.
Well, yeah, well, that's obviously yes, but my first response is, look, dude, I've put 7 years of R&D into this. It's like, just stay injected.
Yeah.
Like, in all seriousness, like, stay injected, go and have some fun. Like, it's too much of a headache because even once you do get it, it's still not right.
Comes back to the too hard basket.
Yeah. How many times have we've already discussed? How many times we've given up and like we're in our third car, we're on our probably 15th engine. Like,
depends if you're trying to chase. You know that's something different, and you're happy to put the hours into it. But if you want a turnkey skid car,
just stay injected.
Stay injected.
I mean, from what we learnt at Powerfest, just buy a $500 VY.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Honestly, yeah.
And a red one apparently.
The red ones go better.
Go faster.
Yeah.
No, not about faster, but they just go better. That thing was a trooper.
Yeah.
Shout
and
out,
it's
Brad.
even better now with a set of diff gears in it.
Oh yeah,
It seems pretty good.
Yeah, Brad put a set of 411s in it, registered it, put a set of 411s in it, and then drove it up to Cairns.
Yeah.
The weekend just gone.
Got 3 sets off.
For round 3, did 3 sets of skids, and then drove it 4 hours home back to Townsville. You cannot beat that.
No.
That's all I want.
Yeah. So
that's all I want.
That there is the answer to how do I get my car to run on carby?
You don't.
So, how do you get my car to run or rev like yours does? Just bump the limiter.
Yeah.
What's his name? Cade? 8,000
Zaid.
RPM. Zaid. So 8,000 RPM on an Ecotec. So on a Mace camshaft.
Yeah, Mace stage 3. Just full Mace gear.
And it sings, man. So if you want to do that, just in all seriousness, like stay injected.
Yeah.
Put a 4-barrel throttle body or something on there and just make it look like
as far as I know, that thing's still standard throttle body and everything.
Yeah, it looked like it was underneath the bonnet.
It looks like a stock.
Maybe it was ported. Maybe. But still, it's nothing.
Just looks stock as a rock from outside, and he revs the fucking thing to 8,000 RPM. And there's a lot of people that probably don't believe it, but go listen to it in person.
Yeah.
That thing's revving.
Yeah. And I thought ours revved.
Yeah.
But 6,800 to 8,000 is completely different.
Yes.
So.
Oh yeah.
Mine doesn't quite sound like it's doing 6,800. It probably sounds a little bit more than 6,800.
Yeah. It sounds like it's fucking.
But.
Revving.
Sounds 7.5-ish.
Yeah, probably, but not 8,000.
No.
So it's just a whole different ball game. I mean, hopefully you can keep the reliability into it and keep with his R&D. So there's prime examples of both, obviously. But yeah, in all seriousness, if you want to go skids and have some fun, rebuild your Ecotec.
I guess
and stay injected.
The answer to your question was originally, how do you go carby? Unless you're willing to put years of your time and effort down the drain to get shit to work that shouldn't work.
Well, how long's the first Carbotech video been out? About 2 years?
It's been about 2 years dot to dot since we first did Carbotech.
Nah.
Yeah.
Like 4 now.
No, it's 2.
We've been in the other property for 2 years. We've been in this property a year, other one 2 years. The first video of Carbotech was at the workshop.
Yeah, and it would have been like maybe just before we left. Anyway, you can go back and have a look at the dates yourself.
A while ago. Yeah.
But it's not
long enough.
It's not 4 years. No fucking way. It's been 4 years. VS has only been fucking making 450 for 4 years. So
we got 3 then.
Yeah. So it's been a while.
Yeah, a little while.
Yeah. So.
And that was fucking. I think we slapped the 350 Holly on the top and.
Yeah, that was just stock 350 Holly. And the fucking strangest part of the whole thing is that like we took it to Archie and it fucking worked. It did perfectly fine. I don't know why, but it did what it was told. And it did the entire track. I linked it multiple times.
Yeah.
In a stock auto fucking VX with a 350 Holly on it. So, for some reason, it did what it was told then, but any other time, no. Wanted no part of it.
Yeah.
Well, once it's finalised on the dyno, she's going to be a monster now. So you've got a good VY bottom end now, and you've got
some serious
all
compression.
The compression. All of it.
Serious compression.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've already done the poll on Facebook to see how much it was. It was obviously coming at 225 across the board. And comparison, This is 145. So
different cams and overlaps,
different camshafts and
but still
stuff like that. But,
we're looking at about £80 more per cylinder.
Yep.
So once you've got it dyno tuned and it's right, you'll have some fun, man.
Yeah.
So
And
if you look after
what did this thing make?
that Golf Western.
What did this thing make horsepower wise?
So last time it was on the dyno. It hasn't been on the dyno for a pretty couple of years. 248.8.
Yeah,
on the
right.
wheels.
It's probably up about 10 now, I suppose.
I would think with some we've done a few little changes, but it's pretty. It definitely seems a bit more pokier than what it was before, so it's pretty gone up a little bit.
Yeah.
That was it. Had done probably 50 skids at that point on that motor.
Well,
and then we changed it over to the 85 and put it back on the dyno, and that's when it did the 250. Basically, rounded off at 250.
Yep.
Talking 1.8 horsepower.
Yeah, and like that's on a true dyno that the guy knows how to load the dyno up, and it gives proper figures, not exaggerated.
Not spinning the tyres at 300 horsepower. None of that bullshit.
This thing is like strapped down beyond belief.
Yeah.
well,
So it's accurate.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind putting it on a happy dyno one day and seeing over 300 perhaps, you know.
Loosen the straps like everyone else does, bro.
Yeah. So, but it's not about horsepower. I mean, obviously the Ecotechs don't deliver horsepower like a Barra, so trying to compare them on a horsepower figure is the most inaccurate way you're ever going to look at it in your entire life.
You can't.
No, they make horsepower in a completely different way.
Yeah.
Like these things are really torquey.
Yeah.
But they don't make a huge horsepower number.
Mm.
Whereas the Falcons and the Barras and that, they'll make a good horsepower number, but they're not as torquey.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Did you get a Newton meter figure, roughly?
I did back then, but I can't remember what it was. It was quite a lot.
Yeah.
Like, quite a lot. To the numbers that where even the guy was like, oh, that's a lot. So,
Right.
I can't remember what it was, but it was an astronomical amount. Yeah.
Like the original manged up when it was a VX. It just, because we didn't have a rev limit or anything like that on it, it just screamed until it blew itself to pieces many times.
Yeah, a couple of times. No limiter, it just, it would move.
Probably what's going to happen to Carbotech.
Yeah, you have to just get settled on that foot limiter.
Yeah.
This one. You're not in America, this one.
Yeah.
Although the accelerator's still on the other side.
Why would you think it's on your left foot?
Still on the
What
same
the
foot.
What an idiot.
fuck?
Can you delete that out? Yeah,
Editor?
You know what I mean. You would start the car on the same side. Like, you know what I mean? I thought the key would be,
side of the car.
it's just on the opposite side. I thought you'd start, like, I've never been there, so I thought you would start the car on the opposite, like it's like
me
us,
neither.
when you get in the car, it's on the outside. It's not, it's on the
Fucking hell.
inside.
That's funny as
The
fuck.
majority of people are right-handed, so...
Yeah.
It's all fucking, while we're talking about Mangs and stuff, give us a quick rundown on Tour de Mang, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't followed along yet, which you guys have shared a fair bit of what our journey's been so far.
If you haven't, jump on their channel.
YouTube and Facebook, Porana Motorsports.
Yeah.
Like
P-
and
And
subscribe.
not
and
how you
follow
would
their-
spell Porana.
No, it's it's Tirana with a P instead.
Yes.
So that stems back to the original Tirana days, which we made up a badge for the front of the Tirana. We took the T off the Tirana and put a P from the Premier and made one badge out of it.
Yeah.
Dad talked about doing it for years with his Tirana back in the day, and he never did. So I was like, well, we're looking for a name for the car, so let's call it Porana.
Yeah.
That's
it's
cool,
stuck.
as.
And then once you've got a bit of a following for one car, I mean, I know I don't skid the Tirana anymore, but it's just, I'm not going to change the name of the page.
Yeah.
You know,
Manged up Motorsports.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna, so that's just what stayed, you know.
Yeah.
So Tour de Mang started 2 months ago now.
Yeah.
It's been a fair journey.
Yeah.
It was have a drink.
Sponsored by Pepsi. Not
Yeah.
really, but if you want to, hit us up.
Yeah, feel
please.
free.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you're going to sponsor them, make sure you sponsor me too.
Yeah.
Porana Motorsports. So it started off at home. We drove basically directly to Adelaide, where we spent a few days there, and we attended Malala Burnouts, which is run by the Adelaide Burnout guys, who also do events at the Bend. We were hoping to be able to get out to the Bend and do an event, but nothing lines up.
Yeah.
think there was one like last weekend or the weekend before, which we thought we might be able to do Powerfest and then straight down there, but then that would be cutting everything off.
Splitting hairs.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to do that just so I can make it down for another event. I'm sure I'll find another event, and as it was, we did. So, and then we did that one. We hung around in Adelaide for a week or so. Did a little bit of sightseeing, caught up with some friends and family, and then made our way to Alice Springs to do Red Centre Nats.
Yep.
That was our second tonner Red Centre Nats. We took the 1 tonner there back when we first debuted the 1 tonner. Like, it hadn't even done a skid comp in WA yet, and we put it on the trailer and took it fresh as straight to Alice Springs. And baptised it with fire and blew the radiator completely to pieces, caught it on fire. And
It was the Davis Craig water pump that done that.
yeah, that was, we were talking about it overheating. That's where we initially found out that was the problem, because it got hot with we had the wrong size tyres on it, and et cetera, et cetera. It ran for like 3.5 minutes on the skid pad, and blew up the radiator pieces, and then of course that blew the power steering reservoir straight off against the motor, blew that to pieces, and then caught fire with the fluid, etc., etc. It's a tension sort of thing.
Yes.
It's not fuel.
Yes.
It was power steering.
Leg bones connected to the hip bone situation.
Yeah. It was lots of fire and embarrassment and all that sort of stuff. You drag your car all that way, and you got 3.5 minutes on the pad, which I got to enjoy, but half the time you're on there, come on, pop tyres. So, so we did Red Centre Nats, and we struggled with the car at Adelaide. It just did not want to run right. So we ended up putting the feelers out and found a guy called Stephen who drives El Forte. I've got a sticker of his car on the front, on the other side.
Yeah.
He lent us his shed and some tools and stuff to be able to pull the car apart. We pulled the car apart, found a few little issues that we were not quite happy with, put it all back together again, ran fine. So we were happy.
Yep.
Took it on the trailer to Alice Springs. We went to Uluru, did the whole scenic tour around, stopped at Cooper Pedy and took the obligatory photo underneath the sign. And, that was a baptism of fire, literally. I mean, it was freezing cold and about 12 degrees in Adelaide and in WA, and we get straight to Cooper Pedy and it was 40.
Fuck.
So it was felt like my face was melting off. I'm not ready for this. I'm not mind if it eases up to 40, but just like straight out of rain and freezing cold to bang 40, and a million people trying to shove Opal in your face. It's like, whoa, we had some fun, did some sightseeing, got to Alice, and then we got the skid off on the Friday night. The car went really good, was awesome. And then all of a sudden it just appeared to have another problem again. Same problem as what it was beforehand. Chased our tails, missed the cruise, the street cruise, which is like if you've been to Red Centre Nats, the skids are cool. To be able to drive your car around on the street is just as cool. To be able to permit the car and literally drive the streets and wave to the cops as they go past, and they wave to you. It's like thumbs up. That's awesome experience.
Definitely.
The pinnacle of the event for me and for a lot of other guys that I've spoken to is the street cruise. 4 or 5 deep for the entirety of the 2 or 3 kilometre round trip is just, it's awesome to be a part of.
Yeah, definitely.
And, to miss out on that, I was pretty disappointed.
Yeah,
so
of course, yeah.
We found out what we think was the DFI module had shit itself.
Yep.
We did have a spare, so we replaced it. Car ran fine, but we missed out on the cruise by like 20 minutes by the time we got the car going, so I was really disappointed.
It's a big letdown.
It is. We put the car back on the trailer. We basically drove from there straight to Rockhampton.
Yep.
Caught up with Jacob and Natalia, who have been on my videos. And Ryan here knows, after spending some time at Powerfest. And then we come down here. We helped you guys get Carbotech mostly sorted. Not in time to be able to get it to Powerfest, which was a shame, but you'd already organised, not mine, which was probably
a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we drove back up there, picked up the car, which we left at Rockhampton, went up and did Powerfest, which was an awesome event. Difficult, because in order to be able to score well there. It's not my driving style.
He comes from the other side of Australia, where it's just full sends.
It's full sends. So, and when you full send a 6-cylinder, you don't tend to get as much tyre smoke, and they score really highly on tyre smoke, and so I had to basically skip.
It's a burnout comp there.
Yeah,
in every sense of the word, like it's a burnout comp.
Yep. It's not the show you put on. Yeah. It's they're looking specifically to tick all the boxes on the judging criteria.
Yeah.
And it's not influenced in any way, shape, or form by how good a skid you put on.
Yeah.
It's
crowd reaction or
none of that.
Nothing care. They don't care how fucking like. And it makes sense. Throwing it like just letting go of your wheel and let your car do your thing like during the tip in. It doesn't show you anything.
No.
It doesn't do anything.
No.
They would.
That's why you did a donut in the tip in.
That's I'm not. That's why the skids I did in the VY were favoured. I nut the entry chute. I put the car very close into every single corner and just rode around on the brake, which was cool. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when it's unexpected.
Yes, very unexpected. But that's like, and I guess like I think I touched on it in my video on Winginit. I guess that's why I like it so much, is because it's getting me ready for summer nuts. They're very summer nuts based. Like they don't care about people throwing the car around.
No, and putting on a show.
Yeah, like it's a burnout comp. Yeah. Get it fluffing, get it into high gear, get the tyres fluffing, and get them off. That's a big thing we learnt over the weekend. Lots of people just weren't getting tyres off, and well,
my issue happened to be not getting tyres off. It was actually getting them off too quick. When you got your six-banger getting brand newies off in 55 seconds, I think that's a little bit of a... Yeah, we had to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
So, and even with changing to the 195s on the 15-inch rims, we still got them off at Wild Wednesday in like a minute 26. So
yeah. You've always had your theory about different rim sizes and weights and all this shit, and it kind of came into reality, especially on my final skid. I was baking 15s all weekend, decided to put a set of 14s on it, and it was shit.
It struggled.
It's struggle street, man. It did not want a bar of second gear, and I was getting third with 15s on it.
Yeah, it's a huge difference, isn't it?
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that too, for people on a budget, especially in 6 cylinders, experiment with profiles. You would be surprised how much better your car will go with the correct profile, and rim size too. Don't think 14s it's going to fry.
Yeah.
We found 15s is the sweet spot.
Yeah, 15s are good, but and that's why I was saying that we were running 195 the other day. It was a 195 50 15.
Yeah.
Which, when you line that up against a 175 65 14,
it's chalk and cheese.
You would automatically assume that the 15 is way bigger, but actually it's not.
No.
I actually think, from memory, I think I've done it before, I actually think the 195 50 15 is actually a little bit smaller.
Yeah,
on the overall height, like height and size, like
the calculation.
Get the old calculator out. Well, it's an app, so look, I'm not pretending to be a mathematician here, but you can physically see that the two tyres are still different, and the 14 would be bigger, but it's actually got to do with rotating mass and continual motion. So, and that makes me not a scientist whatsoever.
Probably why Craig's car is so just aggressive, especially on the tip-in. He
35 kilos a
I think it's like 28 a side or something. Like, I could be in the 30s, I could be wrong, but it's ridiculous. You pick up one of Craig's rims without a tyre on it, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? What the fuck? They're 17s, and they are just heavy duty as all fuck. Like,
So have a play around with it. That's definitely going to help you. And if you can, organise some new tyres, because the softer they are, the more better they smoke. The quicker they get off too. So obviously, but not everyone's got that capability, to be able to chase down and get new tyres every time. $60 a tyre for a 14-inch tyre. That's $120 a burnout.
Look at Liam, for example. He was running those light trucks, second-handy light trucks.
Did 3 skids on them?
Yeah. Well, he did 2 skids, 2 complete skids, and he did get them off at the end. But it was like 4.5 minutes worth of burnouts. Yeah. To get one set of tyres off.
Yeah. So the best thing that I've found, trying to find someone to sponsor you for tyres is for anything is difficult. But I've found it's a lot easier, especially when it comes to tyres. I mean, I'm lucky I've got a wholesale account for myself I've got ABN and everything, so over at home I've got a wholesale account for tyres. But I picked up a guy but they're a WA supplier, so I can't exactly get them over here.
Yeah.
But I've got a guy who's let me use his wholesale account for a tyre supplier that's over here.
Yep.
So I can pick up tyres along the way, and if you can get them for around that $35 to $40 mark instead of paying $60 to $70 for a tyre.
Yeah.
You can run brand newies, or you can run your second handies or your half baldies for your qualifiers, and you put a good one on, a good set on for your final, and put on a good show.
I think from memory we pay about $40 a tyre.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little bit more, but we normally get defects. And when we say defects, they've just got like a crease in the bead or something. Yep. So you just got to lather them up
when we get them real cheap,
and just air cannon them on.
Yeah.
Even so, I mean, at the very worst, we are buying brand new, no defects, nothing, brand new tyres at the worst for $50 a tyre.
Yep. So if you can do that, then and you just got to ask around, if you can do it that way, and the person that's helping you out is not actually out of pocket.
Yeah.
Then.
Just find a mate with a tyre shop or something, and just
befriend them.
Yeah,
invite them around for beers.
Support the people that support the people. You scratch their back, they'll scratch your back.
Absolutely,
definitely.
Yep. So, so we did that, and where were we up to? We're up to Powerfest now, aren't we?
Yeah, we touched on a little bit of Powerfest, but we can.
We did.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So, that's right. Then we've come down here. So
to Wild Wednesdays.
Yeah, we ended up going to Wild Wednesdays, which wasn't even an option until you mentioned it at Powerfest. You were like, "Oh, Wild Wednesdays." I was like, "What the hell is Wild Wednesdays?" And then you were like, "Oh, it's the same guy, Ryan, who does
Fridays,
but he does it on a Wednesday." I'm like, "Cool. Well, we've got what's called a whoop-ass Wednesday at home, which is the Motorplex runs every single Wednesday night, regardless.
Yeah, right.
It's for street racing,
and
then they allow, a dozen or so burnouts at the end, and once a month they do what's called an hour of power, and they allow like 40 burnout cars or something out there, and they chuck up like $500.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, yeah, cool, sweet, no worries, no money. I don't care about skidding for money. It's not about that. It's just about having some fun and skidding another pad.
Yeah.
And we went and had a skid there. We talked about that one a little bit earlier. With some flame throwing action and stuff like that, which was really cool. So and ever since then we've been sitting here twiddling our thumbs and waiting for some car trailer parts to arrive that are never going to arrive. Well, they actually are, but well and truly after we've left. So
yes.
So today's Thursday. Don't know the exact date, but today's Thursday. They ordered a part for their trailer.
Not last week, but the Friday before.
Yeah.
It's still not here. It's still in Perth. So these guys, as much as we love to have them around, they've got to go home eventually.
Yeah. The clock has well and truly come to the end.
It's fucking end past it.
Yeah, well and truly.
I think they were originally supposed to leave like today.
Yeah, we plan to do Wild Wednesday. And
that one was last week. You were supposed to.
So
technically, they were supposed to leave last Thursday. That was the original
Thursday
plan.
Friday. We were going to do this last week, and then we were going to head off after that. The day after, we were going to jump in the car and leave and tonker our way home. That definitely hasn't prevailed.
Hasn't come to fruition.
We decided to hang around in Queensland for another week.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's okay. It's been enjoyable. It's been good catching up with you guys and
bloody oath.
In good company.
Building friendships. That's and I know it's difficult to be able to find a decent one these days. And especially when you live on the other side of the country. But, if we make our way back over here once, maybe you guys can head that way at some stage. And
definitely, I'm already fucking
thinking about it.
But
it's got to be something like what you did. I don't think I'd go all that way for one event.
No, that's what I was saying.
It's got to be at least a 3 to 4 week trip.
Or around the bottom and hit some events on the way.
Absolutely.
There's a whole lot of fuck all going on north half of WA. It's like it's all in the corner.
Yeah. Well, so you want to go to the museum, the one that I went to?
Yeah, Adelaide.
Yeah. I put the video up.
You should have watched it.
Down.
I watched some of it.
Should have hit the notification
which was
button.
epic. Especially if you bleed red.
Yeah.
It's got the effigy and the fucking... It's got all the cool concept cars.
2016.
Yeah.
and it didn't have most of those cars there at that
you're
point.
saying
Effigy
that,
and
yeah.
and Hurricane and that were at different, like one was at the Melbourne Museum and one was at the Echuca one, and there was some was off doing other bits of rounds. But as those museums have come to a close, this one stayed open because it's a freaking monster of a museum.
Yeah,
And they put them all in the one place.
Yeah,
Holy hell!
Forever, hopefully.
Like I didn't even know. We walked in, we went there to go again because look, you're a car guy. Yes, because I've seen it. There's probably a few cars that have changed since the last time I was there. It's
Or
been
a lot.
Or you
it's
just
been 8
didn't,
years,
or
you
ones
know?
that you just walked past and didn't think twice about, and then
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
oh, that's the last Holden ever made.
Yeah, and we walk in the door. It's pretty similar at the front. You got a Bugatti. You know, there was a V10 Jag and a couple of nice, like one of the new Bugattis, like new, 2008 Bugatti, one of those 1,000 horsepower
Veyron.
fastest
Yeah.
car. Yeah. And I'm like, that's pretty cool to see one. You
Yeah.
know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we walk through this bit, and you see a thing about a mail truck from a bloke that used to do mail runs up and down the middle of Australia, and it's like, oh, this is awesome. Then you walk around the corner, and boom, there it was. I just about dropped my phone. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I was like, what the hell are they all doing in the same place? All at the same. I mean, theoretically, they should be. I mean,
Yeah,
Adelaide's the home of Holden,
Yeah,
and you can see that by driving around the streets.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
they still have Holden dealerships over there, filled with brand new Holden cars, like ZBs and everything out the front
Yeah.
for sale. I'm like, I haven't seen that for a long time.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd love to just go there, just even if that.
Yeah,
look
like
around.
it's so cool. And their three, their registration. We had a chat about this, but the way that they can register cars, as long
Yeah.
as it's been on the system, and as long as it's not over 5 years deregistered, you can
gonna
just walk
pay
in and pay 3 months registration and get hand plates straight over
That's
the counter
so
without no
crazy.
inspections, no
That's
nothing.
mental.
It's like a car guy's dream.
Yeah.
It's like I found this car stuffed in the shed. You know,
Sitting in the
like
paddock.
the SS you've got here. You literally walk down to the DOT and say,
Yeah.
I just want to register my car, thanks, and they hand you plates and you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Away you go. Like, holy crap! What
Yeah.
the hell, man?
That's awesome.
I want that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think the South Australian guys realise how good they've got it.
Yeah.
And if they do, they're keeping it to themselves.
Yeah, just keeping it under
That's
the
probably
wrap.
why you don't hear much about it.
Yeah. So,
That's fucking
yeah,
hilarious.
but man, that's worth a look. Even if you
Yeah.
did like the top way and did something like Gazinats, and then come down and did a couple of other events on your way down.
Well,
Stop
definitely
into
want to.
Perth. I mean, you end up doing a full
event,
loop.
Tropical,
Yeah, Tropical Meltdown. That's
Oh,
on
yeah.
the cards
which
next
is like
year.
June, is it?
Yeah.
Which is
yeah.
Cairns. Yeah, around about June in Cairns. I've always wanted to go up to Tropical.
Yeah, and then I think from memory, Gaznats is the end of June, start
I
of
think
July,
they
or
are
something
pretty
like
close.
that.
Yeah. And
So
then
you could like piece it
bang,
together,
bang.
and then end up over in WA.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're at the wrong end of WA, but you would basically turn it into a full loop, which is a freaking long way. But I mean, our journey is going to be 14,000 kilometres, I think, by the time we get home. So, you know, I think it's roughly that to do a full loop around
Yeah.
Australia. So,
Yeah.
That's fucking
even
incredible.
if you go literally type into Google Maps and type in from Brisbane to Perth, it's straight away like for 5,000 kilometres,
Yeah.
like on the shortest way.
Yeah.
So there and back. So if you didn't go anywhere else, didn't look at anything, that's not even going into Adelaide. That's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
going across the top of Port Augusta. So, and it's another 200
It's
or
like a
300 k's
cut-through,
down
yeah.
to Adelaide. That's missing out on everything. You're
Yeah.
still doing 10,000 k's
Yeah.
Yeah.
without stopping or diverting.
Yeah.
So it's a big commitment. Like
Yeah.
it's a huge one.
I'd want to see everything like Great Ocean Road, shit like that. Like,
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
It really is. Especially and if you want to do it, you might only ever do it once. So you want to do it
Yeah.
reasonably properly. You
Yeah.
know, you want to put a few months aside and just say let's go.
yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, like I think I was telling you, I'd love to have a motorhome, tow the car behind, and fuck yeah, just pull up anywhere.
We're gonna do the old budget American trip, but we're just gonna
Just going to go
Australia.
around
we're just gonna
Australia.
do it in Australia.
Just going to lap our backyard a few
We're gonna get a
times.
crusty Winnebago and a
Yeah.
car trailer. And we're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
send it.
yeah. Why
Yep.
not? Why not?
Yeah. And we just like sit in the passenger seat occasionally and pretend as though you're steering like this and you're on your way to Cletus and cars or something. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can put Cletus on YouTube on the dashboard. and
Damo,
pretend.
Yeah.
Damo and commies.
Yeah.
I've always said I still want to. Yeah, obviously, fucking see all of Australia. I've only been as high as fucking Townsville and as low as
Canberra.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's some killer events over in
Yeah.
WA. A lot that don't get the recognition really like over here because they're in WA. Like you guys have got so many cool events over here. Absolutely, like no questions about it. But you hear it, like even we hear about them over at home.
Yeah.
But we've got events over there that have got huge prize money and they've got huge numbers, well over 100 per event, you know, and skids for 3 or 4 days non-stop and you know, 40, 50 blown cars in from WA, you know, and that's stuff that promoters over here would dream of, but you don't actually ever hear of them because it's on the other side of the country. So there's a lot of those, like we were talking, if you're going to do it, man, let us know and I'll make sure we line it up so you get some of those ones you might never heard of before, but for us they are big.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have even put them on the list to go to, like us with Powerfest.
That'd be a big plan.
I wouldn't have even thought about going to Powerfest until I watched you guys go there last year on a YouTube video, and I'm like, that looks cool.
Yeah.
I want to go there. They're doing drag racing and power skids and burnouts and car show and all that sort of stuff, all in one venue.
Mm-hmm.
That's killer.
Yeah.
So.
Ticks all the boxes, old Powerfest.
Yeah, absolutely. So and we've got some events over there at home that are. Okay, like we don't have the drag strips and stuff like that you guys have got over here, but they've got other events that have got other things going for them, like burnouts and mud bogging and tractor pulls and mower racing and four-wheel driving courses and all that sort of stuff, all in the one venue. So you can go to, you know, like experience it as a whole experience, not just skid and go home.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, be cool. Absolutely.
Nice.
And you've always got a place to stay over there.
Yeah.
We don't live in Perth, which makes it a little bit difficult, but you can stop in on the way through.
About 4 hours north.
It's only about 4 hours north of Perth. It's just around the corner.
Yeah.
Don't come at summertime.
Yeah. We'll try and plan it for the winter.
Well, even still.
Yeah, it's a little bit better than summer. Just a little bit, couple of degrees.
Yeah, just a couple. So,
I guess we'll move on to the next question.
Can we even see that?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, I don't know why. I don't know how you.
And I wrote them, so I just know what they are anyway.
Right, well,
but the next question I'd like to ask, and we've kind of touched on it a little bit, and what is the future plans or the near future plans for Porana Motorsports? So get back home.
Yep.
Sort yourselves out. Get back into the routine of things.
We've got to get the porta power out and rearrange the quarter panel on the driver's side, because our special guest dented it.
Yeah. Fucking Pauline.
Oh, I can't believe it. Actually, I haven't even got her out. I thought we'd introduce her on the... We have to get her out before we finish this.
Yeah.
Just briefly.
Yeah.
She's here. I've kept her locked up in there. She's a pain in the ass. So we need to re-straighten the quarter panel, obviously.
Crack the door open. Please explain.
Please explain.
Yeah, she keeps saying, please explain all the time. And then the first off plan is... we don't really have a particular event that we wanted to go to Bindoon, but timing and all that sort of stuff, I'm not entirely sure it's going to be like, I want to get back and spend time with the family once we get home. So I think I'm probably not entirely sure we're going to get to that one, unfortunately. I'd love to, but maybe next time. It's going to be cool. That's definitely one that you're going to want to put on your to-go-to list, because that's awesome, man. Like,
I've been watching Bindoon skids on YouTube for fucking a long time.
Yeah, and so Chris is just incredible what show he puts on. So and by the stuff that I'm watching on the current Facebook page about what they're looking to expand it out to in the near future is astronomical. So they've even got their own skid row there now.
Yeah.
So it's on a bush block. It's like you guys have got here just about, but it's in the bush. But, you know, like, I don't know how many acres it is, but there's no one around, and they've just got this 50 by 50 pad smack in the middle of it, and now they've decided to put skid row. There's a dirt drag thing and everything there, and it's epic. So, anyway.
That's awesome.
The first plan is to get the tonner probably retuned onto E85, because we've just got that fired up. So if you do and have watched our channel, it's not on the YouTube channel because I only started that up just before we left to come on this trip, but on the Facebook page you'll notice that we've got the 1 tonner running again, and it seems to be running good. So we're putting that from methanol across to E85, so we don't have to worry too much about Andra licensing and fire suits and
all the bullshit,
other jargon that goes along with it, which is at the moment unnecessary for burnouts, but that's a conversation we could probably go on with for hours.
Oh,
but
yeah. Yes,
I'd
definitely.
say inevitably we're all going to have to wear fire suits and stuff.
Regardless
I
of
mean,
fuel,
Doesn't
it's
matter what
coming.
fuel, it's
Time
coming.
anyway.
It's
but
coming.
at the moment,
So look at
it's-
Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a fire suit.
Yeah.
At the moment,
definitely.
it's not necessary. So I want
Yeah.
to put that on the I'll get one when I can list. So and the 85's a lot more user friendly anyway. Like
Definitely,
it's
yeah.
easy to get. You can get 20 litres of it from down in the servo, and
Yeah.
well, it's not as easy as it is over here, but
Doesn't chew as much.
yeah, and it doesn't use as much. So, and if we go do bog laps at summer
Yeah.
laps, it's not as expensive to
Yeah.
run. And then we have been talking about, we brushed on it a little bit earlier, possibility of coming back over here again. So if that's the case, then it's going to be probably balls to the walls making that happen. Because
Yep.
that's
Yeah, you won't
That's
have any
6 months
time.
away.
Yeah.
6 months that we have to be over here.
Yeah.
So,
Another big commitment.
and then that's 2 months again over here. So I'm trying to ramp up a small business for myself to the point where I'm, can sustain those sort of lengthy stays away,
Yeah.
which I can. So I can run my small business from away, but I need to be able to have everything lined up in the row so that I can be able to
Definitely,
afford
yeah.
to
It's
do
a
that
big,
because it's
big planning job, yeah.
it's a big commitment and a lot of money. So
Yeah, definitely.
that's definitely on the initial plan straight up.
That would be cool.
So and if we can, then that's what the plans are. And
Yep.
if it won't be this one, well then maybe we'll have to schedule in a couple of other events that we can make it across to again in the near future to something else because it's
Meet
pretty
up
cool,
at the
man. I'm
next
enjoying it
Summer
over
Nats.
here. So Summer Nats.
Meet up at the next Summer Nats.
Well, I'd love to go to Summer Nats. I think now that I've learnt on how to the ins and outs of how to make sure that you get your ticket for Summer Nats,
Yeah.
making
it's
it
a
in to
pain.
get a burnout pass.
This year was a bit easier because they ended up just going, fucking, it's open. till
They
it's
just
open.
opened the floodgates and everyone just got their entries in, and it was just kind of waiting to hear back if you got in.
Well, yeah. Well, I tried to enter as a burnout car
Yeah.
on the second release, which was when they opened up the floodgates.
Yeah.
And as soon as I was literally parked on the side of the road,
So was I.
which for
I
us
think
was
half of
4:30
Australia
in the
was.
afternoon.
Yeah, it
because
was like
it was-
7 or
Yeah, it was
something here.
7:30 over here, which I think is daylight savings time or something like that for them
Yeah,
down there, which
yeah.
meant it was 4:30 for us. I
Yep.
was literally sitting there refreshing my computer on the
Yeah.
side of the road, and the
On my
moment
laptop and
I
my
had it all pre-filled out and everything. As soon as it clicked over, I was refreshed. It popped up again, and I was like, "Sweet!" Go to the drop-down box, select burnout entry, and there
Yeah.
was not one there. I could not click it.
Yeah, right.
And then when I contacted someone else, they were like, "Oh, just put your entry in as a normal entrant, and we might put some more burnout entries through." And I was like, "I'm not paying that amount of money
On
Yeah.
a mite.
on a might, and then be locked into having to either bring my car, and then of course they're not going to give you a refund. They'll say, "Oh, we'll just transfer it to next year,"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, this is the year that I've got planned to come and
Yeah,
do
yeah,
Summer
yeah.
Nats. This is when I've gone righto. We're going to do it. I
Yeah.
don't know what my plans are next year."
Yeah. I'm pretty
So-
sure I just got my burnout entry, and it was like, I seen on Facebook everyone going on about, I can't tick the box, like, where's the...
Yeah, because it was
I
not there,
like, fuck,
and I was
must have
literally there at
just
4:30.
fucking got it. Yeah.
Not there.
You
Not
just couldn't
available.
refresh the portal, you lost it. I was the same.
Yeah.
I just kept the same page open, and even though it just was slow
You
as
got
fuck.
your
and-
burnout one, didn't you? But
Yeah, I'm like very late in the entry list. in
See,
the
mine got
thousands.
I
approved.
don't
Straight away,
entirely
which is
think that
pretty
the
weird.
burnout list is the only thing you're very late at.
Mm,
I think building your car in time is going to be very late as well.
that's just me. I do that.
Well, I mean, worst case scenario, you can
Yeah.
always grab the motor
Well,
out
less
of
than-
Carbotech and chuck in there,
Yeah, just got to pull the cam out.
cam out, and probably change heads. I'd probably recommend changing
No,
heads. 225 pounds of compression
that's all right.
through with the turbo.
That's all right.
Well, it'll
Just
last.
run less boost.
It'll do one of two things. It'll either go really hard for a short amount of time, or really hard for long enough to be able to get you through Summer Nats.
You'd be surprised.
What's
Anyway.
off the heads, isn't it?
What?
Your head's
I already got 50,000 off mine.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not 100 there.
It's halfway there.
I've got 45 off. I've got 40 off of mine, and they still say 140 pounds. So,
I took 50 off EcoBoost. That's my little secret. That's why it goes so good. Yeah. Mm.
look at this.
When's Gavin? That's on
It's
his
stock.
own.
Gazanets.
Yeah, the
6
end
months'
of
time.
June usually. So
That'd be good to tee up maybe on the way back or on the way over. Or something
yeah, I
like
had a look at that. In order to go from here around through Gazinats and back down to Holmes, like 7,000 or 8,000 kilometres. So it's a
Fuck.
big hike to do
Yeah.
the top run versus like 4 going the other way.
Yeah,
4
that's
or
why
5.
I'd
So-
almost go down, yeah.
That's
I
why
don't
going
think
There's a
so.
down.
Yeah.
lot more to explore, as
It
you were
is, but you
talking
get to
about.
tick off the box of going to
I want to
Gazinats.
go to Sydney, even Sydney Dragway. I fucking know. Like,
I'd love
I'm
to do there
stopping
too. Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. For us, it's actually pretty much the same distance to go to Darwin for Gazinats as it is to come across to here or go to Summernats.
Yep.
It's the same sort of Ks, like
Yeah.
about 4,000 Ks
Yep.
one way. So it's you pick your event basically. Like
Yeah,
a lot of guys can afford to be able to go to both, but
Yep.
some other guys choose which one they go to. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this year I'm
Yeah.
going to go to that one, and this next year I'm going to go to that one.
Yep.
So, and usually our choice is we can't afford any of them. So
Yeah.
this has been
Yeah, we can't afford any of them, so we're doing all of them.
yeah. Well, this one, like the sacrifices in order to come here is astronomical on this, and we're doing it in a swag. Like we're
Yeah.
swagging it. We're eating tin food on the road with a cooker, a burner, and stuff. You know,
Yep.
swagging it. We stop every couple of days at a caravan park to recharge all the batteries and have a good shower and wash
Yeah.
some clothes and you know, a bit of phone reception, and then we keep going again. So.
Yeah.
And the sacrifices. Like I sold my daily car. Like when I get home, I've got another car, but I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
fix it when I get home. So you know,
Yeah,
like I don't,
yeah.
I don't have a choice. So I've got to have to. I sold it in order to be able to come on this trip.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
sacrifices in order to be able to make this happen. you know.
Definitely.
2 months away from my kids has been not only breaking their hearts, but breaking mine. Like
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day, you know, having to talk. I talk to them
Definitely.
every day, and it pains me to not be able to see them.
Oh,
You
it'd
know,
be killer.
So, I was lucky enough to have one of them fly over and spend
Yeah,
a week
yeah,
with
that
us,
was
which
cool,
was
yeah.
cool.
Hit up all the theme parks.
Yeah, we hit the theme parks up, got stuck in Brisbane traffic, and
He
you
got
know,
he got the
got the
full
real
experience.
I did. Got the tolls.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
to drop her off at the airport was about $20 in tolls,
Yeah.
plus $37 for the car parking.
Yep.
So it's like $60 plus to be able to just go to drop her off at the airport
Yeah.
and come back again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but they're trying to
Yeah.
look after the people.
Oh yeah.
So, and then to find out that the tolls go to where? China?
Half them, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We ditched the dog and now we've got the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, better go let him out.
So yes, I think we might have answered that question. What do you reckon?
Final question for the night.
Final
before
one,
we
yep.
before we leave the boys. How can we and the audience and the people watching support Porana Motorsports
Oh,
and you two in the future? How can we support you?
well, this is a good start, and we're very thankful.
That's
So,
all right. Anytime. We love to have people on,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
talk
love
about
it.
their
Just love the
stories
scene.
and hear about all things cars and burnouts
and Carby Mangs.
and
Yes.
Carby Mangs especially.
All copies.
Yep. Well, we've got. I haven't got any merch
Just
yet,
Carby.
so that's definitely on the plans to do in the near future. So,
If he does drop a merch line, I'll be sure to share it on the Winginit
Oh, yeah,
Motorsports
we'll
Facebook
be-
page.
Yeah,
We'll be all
pumping
over it.
All the stuff.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Some Tour de Mang shirts, I think, are up in order.
Yeah, well,
Just to
well,
celebrate the trip.
Well, we were planning on doing it before we left, but of course, getting things organised when you're trying to build a car at the same time was pretty hectic,
It's out
and
of control.
didn't quite get it. But look, we've got our own Facebook page, obviously with Porana Motorsports, so Porana.
Tirana with P.
Yes, Tirana with a P. And you can jump on the Facebook page. Got pretty much everything, you know. Like I got an Instagram thing that I don't even know how to use, and
Yeah.
a TikTok thing that you can't put photo videos up of burnouts on.
So you just get flagged.
So I just share.
You've pretty much got your two main ones. You got your Facebook and
YouTube.
recently of the last 2 months you got your YouTube
Yep.
channel.
So I've been smashing out the YouTube videos
Yep.
roughly once a week. I've
Yep.
got one that I put up the other day, which was from Powerfest, and I've got another one which I'll put up in a few more days from
Yeah.
Wild Wednesdays.
Yep.
Which you guys have probably
Already seen by the time this is up.
seen, or you guys have already shared it. So
Depending on who's quicker.
yeah, whichever one comes first. And then I am going to do one when we get home of a detailed one of the journey.
Yeah.
So, which I've actually had quite a lot of push for, because we have done it on a budget. So, how much has it actually cost to do this trip? You know, like you hear a lot of guys just put their car in the truck and send it to Summernats, and they do Summernats, they fly over, they meet the car there, they do Summernats, they put it back on the truck, they fly home.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't really see
The ins and outs.
and someone who doesn't have
$1 million
the thousands of dollars to put it on
or
a truck.
20 sponsors throwing all their support behind you.
I've had a lot of call for that.
Breakdown video.
I've had a lot of call for that, and the breakdown of, like, especially heading to Red Centre Nats, because it's quite a popular event that a lot of WA guys want to head to.
Yeah,
They think it's closer, but in actual fact, it's actually not. By the time you drive all the way down to Adelaide, pretty much, and then straight up to Alice Springs, it's actually the same distance, pretty much, to drive to Queensland. So that was a bit of a shock. I didn't find that out myself until I did a bit of Googling. That's why, thinking about going to some future events and coming back over here again, it's like, well, maybe not going back to Alice Springs that I've done twice, and coming over here and doing all new events. Pick different ones, like go to Bundy or go to
Fridays.
Or go down to Sydney's not that far away.
No.
You know,
No, exactly right.
So-
Especially for the trip you guys have just done.
yeah, absolutely. or we could do things like, you know, Damo, you're saying about you want to go down to Sydney. You know, we could just about say, listen, let's meet at Sydney, and then we travel back up to here and do a few more events up while we're up here.
100%.
There's all kinds of things that are possibilities, but people have been interested in the breakdown of what it's cost us and what we've done in order to do it, because we drive a rickety old car trailer that needs parts. But it's been a very good, reliable car trailer. And we drive a $5,000 Great Wall 2-litre turbo diesel ute that most people won't touch with a 10-foot barge pole.
Yeah.
So, and we've gone through in order to be able to make this happen. And the people are interested in finding out that. So that'll be coming up
In the near future.
And then obviously we'll move on to getting videos out of the 1-tonner, getting back on the dyno, and
that'll be cool.
all that sort of stuff.
Very
so
keen.
We'll chuck the link up anyway, so people can just fucking click on it.
Yeah, cheers.
We'll be sharing a lot of the upcoming posts and videos onto our Facebook page just to keep more people in the loop.
Yeah, it's actually quite strange, because I think we have actually got more Facebook followers than what you guys do, but you guys got way more YouTube followers than what we do.
Just
so it's
5K on
it's
Facebook.
like
We only
really
just
weird. Because I've been going on the Facebook, the Porana Motorsports page has been going for like 10 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And you guys have been, but your videos have gone off on YouTube a lot longer than I've been doing them. So it's quite funny the way that it works.
Yeah, definitely.
And you guys have got. Have had a pretty cool crew of guys with a lot of good content. And we're just starting out and building our own cars and doing it just with Dad and I, which has been good. So yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, that'd probably
wrap it up for tonight.
Starting to be able to not see.
Yeah, they probably can't even see us either.
Probably not.
You're going to be adjusting the contrast up.
Yeah.
I
hope I'll turn the light on before we started.
Yeah, good thinking, Damo.
Slowly got more and more dark.
Yeah. And we don't even know how long we're gone for, because there's nobody behind the camera.
We have no one producing tonight.
No.
Shout out, Craig. Thanks for dodging all me calls, mate. Nah. Anyway, we'll probably wrap it up there. Thanks, everyone, for watching another episode of Idle Talk Podcast. Legends. This was episode number 12. Proudly supported by Octane Apparel and Ryan Cobb, as always.
Yep. Definitely hit his events up. They are unlike no other.
Oh, yeah. You'll be seeing a lot of that in the near future from us Winginit boys. But,
Definitely.
Thank you.
Us if we can.
Yeah, and the Porana Motorsports boys when they come back next year.
We've already witnessed one small one, so...
Yeah, they got a taste. Small. They want the whole cake now.
Yeah.
I know, multi-day one. You won't...
Foot-ons for days, brother.
You need to bring.
Nah. Awesome, as thank you two very much for jumping on.
Legends.
Thanks,
greatly appreciated. And we'll probably call it there. Thank you very much for watching.
Cheers. Catches.
Mad.